Hello, you're watching 6 News on the Hour. I'm Leonardo Puglisi. The top stories we're following right now. 6 days to go. Pre-polling continues across Victoria as the Liberals face candidate scandals, but questions arise over what could happen if Labor wins the election and Dan Andrews loses. Fallout continues after an Upper House MP said she wants to turn the Victorian Premier into red mist. She says she was misinterpreted and was not inciting violence, with the backlash growing. The flood disaster in New South Wales Central West shows no sign of easing, with authorities now forecasting more severe weather right across the state. And the Medibank hacker releases close to 1,500 records in the latest batch of data to be put on the dark web following last month's attack on the health insurance provider. Good evening. This time next week, we will likely know who will lead in Victoria for the next 4 years. As it stands, Danielle Andrews could very well become the second longest serving Premier in the state's history, while the Coalition is looking to get into government for just the second time in Victoria since the year 2000. The Liberals tonight are facing multiple candidate scandals. One won't sit in the party room after the election, another reportedly railing against Aboriginal recognition, climate change and abortion. The ALP, meanwhile, is still doing well in the polls, but questions are arising about the possibility of Labor winning the election, but Dan Andrews losing his own seat of Mulgrave. Portland and Holmes begins our special coverage.
With less than a week to go until Victoria decides, most polls seem to be pointing to a Labor win, and that could very possibly keep them in majority. Hawthorn, Box Hill and Richmond are three key Melbourne seats many believe Labor will lose, but one of those could go to a Teal independent, while another could go to the Greens. The Coalition needs to pick up a total of 18 seats to get to a majority government, which requires 45 out of a total of 88 lower house seats. However, some changes in electoral boundaries are also coming into play. They also can't afford to lose any. However, in some seats like Kew, they are a chance of losing a seat. The Premier himself is now facing what may be his biggest challenge he's ever seen in his seat of Mulgrave, with 13 other candidates contesting. That's up from 4 others back in 2018. The main candidate trying to get rid of Andrews looks like it's independent Ian Cook, who is running on an anti-corruption platform. The Freedom Party, Democratic Labor Party and Family First are also running, along with several independents. If history tells us anything, the chances of a sitting Premier losing their seat are low. The last time it happened was at Campbell Newman in Queensland in 2015, while Prime Minister John Howard lost his own seat at the 2007 federal election. In the event that Andrews lost, but Labor was still able to form a government, Jacinta Allen, the Deputy Premier, would likely be replacement. Polling closes at 6 p.m. local time on Saturday. Lincoln Holmes, 6 News.
Fotini Theodossopoulou is one of those many Mulgrave independent candidates. I spoke to her a little earlier.
Reason why I try to run for this year is because I'm absolutely appalled at everything that I see going on behind the scenes. I'm a big advocate for democracy. I love our democratic foundations and our principles in this country, in this state, in this city, and I feel that democracy is in danger. I'll be a very big advocate for propelling such principles moving into the future. So that's definitely where I'm coming from.
Obviously, unseating a sitting Premier is a near impossible challenge if history tells us anything. How do you think you're actually going to go?
Look, we're putting in a massive marketing effort. I do believe from just speaking to the local public, families, business owners, even some of the older generation, a lot of the people have lost faith. They've lost trust. They feel that they're not being respected. They feel that they're not being heard. So there are a lot of people in the local community that I guess the Premier may not have that much opportunity to engage with and to understand how they're feeling, being so busy that he is the Premier. And I feel that these people, require a voice, and they need to be heard, and they may be looking to vote elsewhere this year, anywhere, perhaps an independent such as myself. And that's a reason why I put myself, and I didn't join any of the other bigger parties, is because I wanted the freedom to express myself in the way that I wanted to express myself without anyone suppressing me, obviously in a respectful manner, but without having anyone suppress me or guide me or rearrange my thoughts and what I'm trying to convey to the community. So that's a reason why I put my name down as an independent. I feel the more voices we have in Parliament, the more choices the general public will have. Democracy is all about the battle of the idea. It's not necessarily about the best person that should win a certain spot. It's about putting forward ideas to the public and letting them choose what they think would be best for society. That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, look, as I mentioned, such a hotly contested race, so many candidates here, and quite a few independents, including yourself. Now, if you look at some of the analysis, some of the polls, it looks like out of all the independents, Ian Cook seems to be the main challenger there. Do you acknowledge he seems to be the biggest independent challenger facing Dan? I mean, we had 6 News cameras out in Mulgrave only yesterday, and his face is everywhere.
Absolutely. Look, Ian and his whole team have been working on this marketing campaign for quite a while now. I do believe he's disillusioned with the current system, the current way things have been managed and handled in Victoria. He has that personal connection to those unfortunate circumstances, but that's his story to share, not mine. He has put a lot of effort. He has put a lot of effort, and he's definitely reaching a big chunk of the community. I'm reaching out to my immediate community who know me quite well. I'm quite engaged with my neighbours, with my family, with my friends, and particularly my cultural background is Greek. So there's a big Greek community here, and I'm trying to reach out to them. And I will be preferencing as another independent. It's noteworthy to mention that I will be preferencing Ian as my second. To be honest with you, I think that's quite important. Yeah.
Well, at the federal election, the Greens and Teal independents won big, and it's very possible they could do the same here. The number of Greens MPs in the lower house could be doubled from 3 to 6, while Teal independents are a chance of taking seats from both Labor and the Liberals. And other progressive parties like the Animal Justice Party, Reason and the Victorian Socialists are all a chance in the upper house. Senior reporter Darby Travers has more.
Well, at the federal election, the Greens had their best ever result, while Teal independents also won big right across the state. Now, some believe we could see similar results in this Saturday's Victorian election, with Teal's a chance of picking up 4 seats, including the Liberal-held seat of Kew and the Labor-held seat of Hawthorn, while the Greens could win seats like Albert Park and Richmond. The Greens currently do have only 3 lower house MPs, which could double after Saturday. In the upper house, they are looking to win back the 4 seats they lost back in 2018, but are facing a challenge because of preference deals that may not favour them. Currently, their only upper house MP is party leader Samantha Ratnan. Other progressive parties may also have successes, with Animal Justice Party MP Andy Medic believing they could win a couple of lower house seats if they're lucky, while preference deals may very well see them win in the Northern Victoria region. The Reason Party is looking to hold on to leader Fiona Patton's seat. That could be picked up by the Victorian Socialists, who may also win in the Western Metro region. All those parties are now in full campaign mode on the ground and at pre-polling, with only 6 days to go until Victoria decides.
The fallout from an upper house MP's red mist comments tonight continues. Angry Victorians Party MLC Catherine Cumming told a rally in Melbourne yesterday she wants to turn Premier Dan Andrews into red mist. Then she mentioned the term pink mist. That is the term used when referring to the blood that comes out of a sniper's target when they are hit. Cumming now claims she is referring to Labor's red shirt scandal and does not wish the Premier any harm. The comments led to condemnation from right across the political spectrum, including from the Liberals, Reason, Greens and Labor.
I think we're better than this. Our multicultural, multi-faith state, a thoughtful, inclusive, compassionate state, we are much better than this. We're much better than violent extremism. We ought to leave that to the United States. This is not America. And I, for one, will do nothing to contribute to the Americanisation of our politics.
Outgoing Liberal MP Tim Smith has slammed Matthew Guy after the Victorian opposition leader said an upper house candidate would not be sitting in the party's party room after the election. It's been reported Renee Heath is a, quote, agent for the City Builders Church, which wants to infiltrate coalition politics, according to The Age. Smith said on his newly reactivated Twitter account that Guy has, quote, no power to do what he's proposed. This is cultural Marxism. And while I'm a member of this party, I'll call this crap out. Heath is number one on the Liberal Party's Eastern Victoria region ticket, essentially guaranteeing she will win. She will still appear as a Liberal candidate on the ballot paper and will possibly sit as an independent or join a party if, or really when, she's elected. Turning our attention away from the Victorian election right now, and the flood disaster in New South Wales Central West is showing no sign of easing, with authorities forecasting more severe weather across the state. The ABC reports floodwaters have cut off evacuation routes in Ewa, along with people in Forbes having to deal with ongoing evacuation warnings. The past 24 hours saw SES crews receiving more than 250 calls for assistance and rescuing 8 people. The Medibank hacker has released more private information onto the dark web around a month after the cyber attack was first reported. Around 1,500 files have been linked, with 6 News understanding they look at some of the most personal areas of healthcare. The total amount of records released is now approaching 3,000. The UK's Prime Minister has visited Ukraine, pledging $88 million in defence amid the ongoing war. Rishi Sunak met with President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kyiv with a defence package including 125 anti-aircraft guns. It's Sunak's first visit to Ukraine since becoming PM. He said that it is, quote, deeply humbling to be in Kyiv today and to have the opportunity to meet those who are doing so much and paying such a high price. Today I feel Qatari, today I feel Arab, today I feel African, today I feel gay, today I feel a migrant worker. Those are the words of FIFA President Gianni Infantino in what's been labelled as an extraordinary and bizarre media conference by many. Infantino is facing backlash over the World Cup, which is being held in Qatar, but said Europeans should not be giving moral lessons to anyone, and he believes this will be the best World Cup ever. It comes amid growing backlash over a recent ban on alcohol at stadiums despite a major sponsorship from Budweiser. Twitter has unsuspended the account of former US President Donald Trump just minutes after the results of a poll sent out by Elon Musk were finalised. Musk asked people on Twitter whether Trump should be unsuspended and his account reinstated, the results being finalised at about 52 to 48% in favour. Minutes later, the account @RealDonaldTrump reappeared. Trump, however, saying prior he does not want to leave his own social media platform, Truth Social. The account had not tweeted since around a couple of days after the 2021 Capitol riot. And now it's Ivan Amelia with what's coming up later tonight on WAMN News.
Thanks, Leo. Tonight on WAMN News, a pillar of youth crime prevention on the decline. Former PCYC CEO's dire warning. A WAMN News exclusive.
Nurses and midwives contemplate strike as latest government pay offer rejected.
5-4 mental health advocate Nigel Gold scoops another prestigious award.
A small community organisation's fight for survival as government funding shifts to larger groups. And later, Dr. Andrew Miller's comment. Join us tonight on the WAMN News Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Alright, thanks to Ivan and Melly there. Now taking a look at tomorrow's weather forecast right across the country. Brisbane, sunny, getting to a top of 34. Partly cloudy in Sydney, despite that wet weather in the rest of the state, 22 degrees. Showers seen in the rest of the southeast, though. Canberra, just 11 degrees, while Melbourne's expecting thunderstorms in 13, and it'll be similar conditions down in Hobart. Some clouds over in Adelaide, 15, while it'll be sunny in 26 in Alice Springs. Perth to get to a nice sunny top of 28, while in Darwin a warm but wet top of 32. A reminder of the top stories we're following on 6 News this hour, and there are just 6 days to go until Victoria decides. Pre-polling continuing across the state as the Liberals face candidate scandals, but questions are rising over what could happen if Labor wins the election and Dan Andrews loses his own seat of Mulgrave. And fallout continuing after Upper House MP Catherine Cumming said she wants to turn the Victorian Premier into Red Mist. The angry Victorians MP now claiming she was misinterpreted and was not inciting violence. The backlash to those comments now growing. And a reminder, for special coverage of the Victorian election all next week, tune into 6 News right here on our YouTube channel and our website, SIXNewsAU.com. Tomorrow we'll let you know something about every single political party running and those who were supposed to run and those who are endorsing independence. Then we'll continue to have live rolling coverage on the hour bulletins and interviews with newsmakers, with candidates, with MPs. We're trying to speak to at least one person from every party. As of now, there are only 3 parties we haven't been able to speak to: the Nationals, Shooters, Fishers, Farmers, and the New Democrats. That's an invitation for any of them to come on. We would love to be able to speak to them, talk about their policies, why they are running, and of course, live election night coverage from 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time on Saturday. That's November 26th, right here on our YouTube channel. We've got a panel featuring 6 News contributor and host of Between Parks Place and Capitol Hill, Stuart Jeffrey, and host of the Matthew Hayne Show and political commentator Matthew Hayne, plus live crosses to our reporters Roman McKinnon, Austin Pollock, and the rest of the 6 News team covering this election, not just what it means for Victoria, but what it means right across the country, because these are going to be extraordinary results. And of course, we'll be looking at the upper house a bit more in depth than they might see anywhere else, because that is where the balance of power is held. That is the House of Review, and that is where we could see an extraordinary amount of minor parties and probably many with very little vote. So again, that is from Saturday, November 26th from 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. That is 6 News for this hour. There is more news 24/7 on our website, SIXNewsAU.com, and on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Elite. Just search 6NewsAU to find us. I'm Leonardo Puglisi. Thanks for your company. Good night.